I'm still shocked. Again, I watched every Penn State game last year. How did Tyler Warren drop so low? You would have thought he would have been taken higher. Listen, every time Penn State was in the red zone, there's a whole playoff game where a wide receiver didn't even get the ball because it was passed off to Tyler Warren. He can be a QB. He can run in the red zone. He was the go-to guy in the red zone. How wouldn't, a good team that's missing that key component, possibly a future Gronk, not take someone like that?
How about this? He's not even the first tight end to go.
I know.
Colson Loveland went to the Chicago
Blows
Bears.
Me
that
away.
was a huge shocker. I mean, like again, I watched I'm a Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame, LSU was my two college football teams, and Warren was awesome for Penn State. And like, how the hell does Loveland, who nobody talked about at all before this draft,
no off the field issues, class act. I mean, the guy was playing fullback for a little bit too. Like he was just their main stud. Again, he's the next Gronk, Travis Kelce, whatever you want to call it. He's the multi-use guy.
It just shows that all the things we read and all the things we watch and all the analytics, it doesn't mean anything when it comes to what these GMs and these owners are thinking, or like I said, the interviews that go on behind the scenes. And we're going to talk about Sanders. Obviously, we have to. How can you not later on in the show? I get it. But there are so many things going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and this is another perfect example as to how this kid.
I mean, did he interview bad? Like, what was it?
So
who knows?
I think in the NFL draft, like just like anything in life, right? Like just like think about like the government with foreign policy. You don't want to give your cards out before you execute, right? So the NFL draft is kind of the same way. You want to hold your cards close, right, to your chest and go, all right, we want these guys. But we don't let everybody else know how good they are as well. You know what I mean? Like, so again, I like that. We all have the hype. You have the Mel Kipers. You have all the Todd McShays, all these guys talking about the draft and the guys they think are the best of the best of the best. But they're wrong a lot of times too. So it's one of those things where, again, they are wrong. Like Mel Kiper, like I watched the thing on ESPN with all his picks like Jimmy Clausen and all these other guys that were like complete busts. Jamarcus Russell. Oh my God. I was a huge LSU fan, and Russell gets picked first overall. He doesn't even last 3 years in the league. And he was saying how he's going to be the next John Elway and how they have the big arm and all these guys. So these guys aren't always right.
Yeah, but here's what you're missing. Here's what you're missing, I think. This isn't a right or wrong answer. Like, this is a team need. This is a forecast. They're not picking this player or this kid for this year. It's a forecast. They're foreseeing what the 3 to 5 year plan is for their teams. So because somebody had a kid ranked the end of the first round and went to the second round or the third round is not necessarily right or wrong by these sports analysts that have studied this. It's not a right or wrong answer. It's what's going to fit the team to make them better, not only for this year, but for the long run, I think. So but
I disagree though. Like,
I think that's what's so great about sports.
Yeah. All right, so again, the Chicago Bears didn't need a tight end. They had Cole Kmet, but they took a tight end anyway, and took a guy that nobody forecasted being that high up. And Warren was a better option at a tight end, and it took Loveland instead of Warren, even though they have a good tight end.
Yeah, but
in
that's
Chicago.
fine.
So
That's fine. But the Dallas Cowboys didn't need a wide receiver, but CeeDee Lamb was on the board. You don't pick CeeDee Lamb at the time or Trevon Diggs.
Yeah, but
come on, man.
But by the time, that's the best player available, so you take CeeDee Lamb. But again, like what I'm saying is the Chicago Bears in the first round took a guy that nobody talked about. So obviously they like this kid for some whatever reason, GM, for the combine, whatever it is, the interview process. They took him first in the first round. The Bears needed offensive line to help with Caleb Williams. They don't need another tight end.
Maybe it's just a bad GM.
I mean, look, not to plug Howie Rosemen over here, but you got to give Howie credit. I mean, think about the majority of the draft picks that the Eagles took were defensive players. He's planning ahead. He knows Lane Johnson is probably retiring in a year or two. Plan for that.
You win on defense.
Yeah,
you win on defense.
But the Eagles have an owner that isn't afraid to spend and to make the moves with Howie. So did you watch the behind the scenes with this draft?
Oh yeah, loved it.
And last year as well. I'm not an Eagles fan, but it was on ESPN. They showed like Howie talking to, was it Jeff or what's the guy's name who owns the Eagles?
Jeff Lurie.
Yeah, they were talking back and forth, and Howie goes, "No, we're gonna wait another round for this guy, whatever it is." It was cool to see the owner is letting the GM make the moves.
Yeah.
But as a Cowboys fan, we're pulling our hair out every year going,
Wonder what that's like.
Yeah. And Jerry has guys around him. And again, the Cowboys do have solid drafts. I can't complain because the guys we do get overall are pretty good besides Guyton last year. But the thing is, we do pretty
He'll be
well.
okay. Sophomore year, he's going to be okay.
I hope so.
He's going to be all right.
But we did draft.
Are you still a Cowboy fan?
I am, but I'm listen, it's been over 30 years since we've done something. And like I watched a stat where it said Jaden Daniels and and Jalen Hurts have been born and been to an NFC Championship game before the last time the Cowboys have made it. And that's an interesting stat. They've been literally lived their whole lives before the Cowboys have won anything.